What is up, my friends? It is Sunday night, and I hope you are all in good spirits. Thank you so much for coming and joining me for tonight's stream. We have a fair amount to discuss, I think it's fair to say. We're going to be speaking about Caoimhín Kelleher and his impending move to Brentford. We're going to be asking, will that unlock the situation here for Florian Wirtz? We're going to give you the very latest on exactly what Leverkusen are asking for, and more importantly, who they're trying to bring in as part of the deal, and of course lots more to go through over the next 90 minutes or so. Hope you've all had a nice weekend and enjoyed the Champions League final last night. It was a one-sided beatdown, if we're honest about it, folks, wasn't it? And fully deserving winners, Paris Saint-Germain. They made that Inter Milan team look old. It was refreshing to watch, actually. Usually we see a final, they're cagey affairs, but PSG just went out there with serious intent from the off and got the job done. So yeah, look, lovely to see you all in. Any questions or anything you guys have, of course, feel free to throw them into the chat. I will do my best to keep you up to date with exactly where we're at. So I want to just start off tonight, folks, if I may, with a little word from our former chairman, Mr. Peter Moore. So he's been given a bit of an insight into what he thinks is going to happen after Liverpool splash the cash on Florian Wirtz. Obviously, we've got Frimpong and Kerkez coming in as well. This is what he had to say, and I think this will probably sound a little bit more familiar to you than some of the window we've had so far. He said there are going to be some hard decisions on players who are going to have to leave. And if Wirtz is real, I know my owners pretty well, then somebody is going to have to go, A, to get money back, and B, to make room in the payroll salary for that. So basically saying that once we bring in these players, the three we're speaking about here, sales are going to have to be funding it and player wages being saved. And look, that's no big surprise. You know, again, I'm going to look at this window holistically at the end of it and think, did we improve and have we strengthened where we needed to? Whatever the figures are, well, sure, we'll discuss them as well. But Peter Moore certainly expecting some sales after Liverpool get these deals sorted out. Right, a couple of super chats to get through. Let's start with this one from Schmungus. How are you, my friend? Appreciate you as always. Hey, Craig, Luis Diaz partner posted on Insta 4-paragraph statement. Sounds like an exit. Well, I've got that statement right here, and thank you for bringing it up, Schmungus. Let me read it out to everybody. So this is from Luis Diaz partner, as mentioned. Said, from the first day we arrived, we felt firsthand what it means to be part of this club. We knew the slogan was, you'll never walk alone, but to hear them sing it with so much passion, support us every moment and show us such unconditional love, confirmed to us that you'll never walk alone. This fan doesn't just support, it feels, and what you've made my boyfriend and our entire family feel is something we carry in our souls. Thank you for so much love, for so much dedication, and for making us feel at home. Being a part of this fan is a privilege. There's no doubt they're the best in the world. This is a real bond, deep and strong, that reaffirms that we'll never walk alone. So, again, like our friend Schmungus there, I see this very much as a potential goodbye message. We asked the other day what we think Luis Diaz one was, and probably a similar tone to that. So it looks to me, and again, I'm just basing it off these, no inside knowledge on that. It does look like maybe we're talking about a departure there for Luis Diaz. David, how are we, my man? Always a pleasure to see you in. Said, hey Craig, just want to let you know, I sent you the Shankly story by email. My mum wrote it and I sent it by email. I hope you get to read it. Thank you, David. I will absolutely get around to it, my man. I've been up to my eyes today. We were out and about down in KFC with our son because he wanted his KFC fix. So we went down there and we've been just ringing on the phone, reading up, getting transfer stories all day, my man. But I promise you, I will absolutely look forward to reading that. And thank you for sending it. Sean Lester, is Wirtz still happening? The fact that you asked me that actually really annoys me, if I'm being honest with you, mate, because I couldn't be any clearer about it. You don't have to worry about Florian Wirtz one bit, not one little, not even an itty-bitty bit. You have nothing to be concerned about with it. He is going to be a Liverpool player. The situation, which honestly, mate, I couldn't be any clearer on this one to you, bro. Nothing to be concerned about. Nessie said, hey Craig, how are you doing? I'm good. It's crazy busy though. My face has been just glued to the phone for the last few days, Nessie, but looking forward to getting this Wirtz deal over the line so we can all properly celebrate it. George said, hey Craig, hope you're good. I'm calm about Wirtz. I think we get a here we go tonight. Thoughts on who we bring in the left wing? Personally, want Gordon. I'm open to Anthony Gordon. If I'm being realistic and giving you a dream scenario, Nico Williams has always been somebody I told you guys I'd love. But, looking at the homegrown quota as well, George, I do think maybe we revisit Gordon. But I'll be honest, dude, I don't know. I can only tell you the stuff I know, and I don't know about the centre-backs. I don't know about the centre-forwards. All I know is the three that we're speaking about, Wirtz, Frimpong and Kerkez. And those three will happen over the next week or so. Well, again, I'm not trying to say Wirtz is going to take a week, but I mean, you've got the stuff coming down with Milos Kerkez, and as Fabrizio Romano said, that deal will be soon as well. Frankie, thank you, man, for being with us as a member for 21 months. Always a pleasure, sir. Bilal, I thought we gone through this the other day. Are we going to just have to block you again, mate? Or, are we going to just waste everyone's time again? Consider this your first and only warning. No amount of apologies or anything else, mate, is going to bail you out if you keep going down this road. So just let it go. Is it wrong that I want Chiesa to stay just so we can sing the song in the Cup next season? Look, I want Chiesa to stay because I think he's a good player. And, I want to see him get more opportunities at Liverpool. But honestly, I don't know whether he's going to stay or go. The manager said he was staying, so, I'm going to work off that. But, yeah, I want him to stay as well because he's a good player. David Hugert said, in Craig's sources we trust, the transfer is done. Look, honestly, sometimes I get information, sometimes I don't. If I don't, I'm upfront and I say I have no idea on it. But on these three, you've nothing to be concerned about. The sticking point about Kerkez is going to be the extra few million that Liverpool don't want to pay, but I'm sure we will see. Well, we'll see that get over the line eventually. Liverpool probably coming in about 35 to 38. They want 45. Will we see a deal of 40, or will they hang on Bournemouth to get the full 45? That we'll see over the next few days. Crazy, is there an update now on Hugo? Sorry, my dog's just making noise in the kitchen and I can't read or concentrate when he is. Bear with me. Is there any update on Hugo? What's his name again? How do I pronounce that one? Ekitike? No. Ekitike? Hugo. No, nothing for me. And I don't know anything on it, Stephen, so I can't give you anything new to that one. I know we've been linked. I know Chelsea have been linked. But honestly, hand on heart, mate, I haven't got a clue who we're looking at through the centre. Your guess is as good as mine on that one. All I can keep saying is the same thing. I don't think he's worth €100 million. Whether that's us or Chelsea or whomever else pays it, I just don't think it's worth it. It's great being a Liverpool fan. It absolutely is. It's been a brilliant last few weeks. It really has. Tobias, how are you, dude? Said, shift off. I get to here we go. This stream. You could do. Like, genuinely, it is close. I know some people are saying that there's still a way to go on this, but it is close. So let me just read you through what came in just before we went live. So Fabrizio Romano said, Florian Wirtz is expected to be a Liverpool player very soon. So it is just small details here. And look, what I don't know about is where we are with the negotiation for Kwanzaa and or ELLIOTT with Leverkusen. I have no idea how Liverpool are being receptive to that or not. I haven't got a clue. But they are players that Leverkusen are looking to be included as part of the deal. We were trying to figure out who those players were. And then earlier on today, that started to become a little bit clear. Yeah, sorry, Mark. Sorry, yeah, no. Don't distract me with messages, Mark. Unless it's news, please don't be just messaging me with messages, mate. I can't focus if I'm not zoned in. So these distractions they don't help. But on the Vert super chat, he said I need to go back over it. So what was that one? Where was that one? Partner. Chiesa. Can I marry you? Yeah, I don't know where we're at with it, mate. Sorry. This just confuses me when people start messaging me. Right. Proud Scouser. How are we, Callum? Appreciate you, bro. I've been lurking for years now. Should I be worried? I'm only joking, man. I'm only joking. Seeing how the AA team have handled their show and the words you've spoken about my city warms my heart. Everybody at AA are honorary Scousers in my book. Man, thank you. Look, I've said it before and I'll say it again, Callum. I just feel a connection with Scousers, man. I think we've all got a similar sense of humour as well. I have a very dry, dark sense of humour, and my Scouts friends are very similar. So it's a pleasure, man. Look, to be an honorary Scouser in your book, man, I'll take that every day of the week. Thank you. And your city deserves the respect that we give it, mate, because every single time we're over there, and even if it's just my family and nothing to do with me, and my daughter was over there, nobody knew who she was, and she was treated amazingly as well. It's just a class city, mate. You should be very proud to be from it. Lewis Wildick said, I hope they see more Rio, especially if Diaz leaves. Yes, good shout. I don't know what the situation is going to be for young Rio this season. Will he be kept with the first team? I'm sure we'll see him for pre-season. I don't know. In an ideal world, I still think he feels maybe a year too young to be really involved with the first team. But I guess we've seen with some younger players these days, like if you are good enough, you're old enough. So it's going to be interesting, Lewis. But what a player. What a player he is going to be. Man like Spence, how are we, dude? Thank you for being with us as a member for 2 months, bro. Appreciate you. Nico for 50 million. Also, Haddo and Ryan together on Insta. Haddo is an interesting one because there is a lot of interest in him. Now, again, my information kind of stops with Kerkez. I know that's the number one target for Liverpool. But Haddo is certainly worth keeping an eye on for a couple of reasons. Obviously, if we don't, for some reason, get the number sorted out with Bournemouth, then Haddo could be an option. He could also be an option looking at centre-back because, truthfully, like I've said, I don't know what the situation is at centre-back. And that's probably the area of the pitch that concerns me the most. You know, the centre forward position, I'm relatively calm about. When we get Wirtz in, that gives us another attacking option. But I just don't feel right about the 100 million for Ekitike. It just doesn't feel like the right type of money for me. It feels about 35 million quid overpriced. But let's wait and see what happens. Do you think there is any legs in Gakpo leaving? Hope not. Oh, if I was a betting man, and I am, Declan, I would probably nudge that I think it's more likely we'll see Diaz depart than Gakpo. But Bayern Munich are seriously interested, and we know that they're looking to bring in another wide player as well. There's uncertainty around Leroy Sané and his future there. You know, his contract's up at the end of this month. He's been linked with a move to, Arsenal. And yeah, if they don't keep him on and maybe they don't get another target, I can't sit here and tell you that they won't put in an offer for Gakpo, but I don't think he's on Liverpool's list of players that they're looking to move on. Oh my God, so many messages. Wow. I thought there was 2 super chats left and I was about to just go, I'm going to get into the chat and chat with everybody else now, but I'm going to just take a break from the super chats for a second because I do want to start to get through the news for you. And then I promise you I'll get straight back into them. So I'm going to fly through a couple of stories of where we're from and where we're at today. So Brentford in advance talk to sign Queevy and Kelleher. Now there seems to be a little bit of confusion from some people around the numbers involved in this. The initial fee I believe will be about £12.5 million up front, but the total package including add-ons will come to £18 million. So I guess if you're like me, you're going to say, hang on a minute, that's a little bit lower than the 25 million that we were talking about. And it is. And there was so much interest in Kelleher that I can't help but feel that this is linked into the Wirtz situation. So they are going to sign Kelleher, and then the keeper Flecken from Brentford, he's gone over to Leverkusen. See why this is all kind of coming into each other? So everybody, it needs to be affordable for everybody there. And if it helps grease the wheels a little bit for Liverpool to get the Wirtz deal along, well then, who am I to say no to it? Fabrizio Romano has also said that Liverpool are expected to make a bid for Milos Kerkez very soon. Ben Jacobs as well, saying Bournemouth want 40 million plus, and there's a good relationship there. 1 year ago to the day, Arne Slot became Liverpool head coach, and I think, as they say, the rest is history. A little bit that I mentioned earlier on in the news video on Jayden Danns. Sunderland look like they're interested once again in bringing Jayden Danns to the Stadium of Light, and I think that would be a good move for the season if you could go on loan there, get minutes in the Premier League now. You know, the deal that brought him there on loan last season obviously never really came into effect because of his back injury, but the Northern Echo are reporting that Sunderland could be back in looking for a loan move for Jayden Danns. And again, I don't know what everybody thinks, but for me, a loan move to Sunderland in the Premier League would be brilliant for Jayden Danns. Right, so like I mentioned earlier on, you're now starting to see these reports coming out of elsewhere that Florian Wirtz has agreed a 5-year contract with Liverpool Football Club. Bild over in Germany now claiming the same thing. I believe Kicker have reported it as well. The fee still remains to be discussed, and there is a few not snags, but there's a little bit of a difference in the valuation. Nothing that won't be overcome, but it is the reason why we're still waiting for that official here we go and for him to be on a plane. Now there's a couple of time frames to keep an eye on. Wednesday is when he plays with Germany in the Nations League. So realistically, if you don't see him on a plane Sunday or Monday, you may probably see it after Wednesday. But I do think there's still a very good chance we see him in Liverpool tomorrow having a medical. But we'll have to get to here we go. So just wait for that one, but it is really close. Where else are we at? So Florian Plettenberg said that Bayer Leverkusen have the idea to include Harvey Elliott or Jarell Quansah in the deal for Florian Wirtz. There's no final decision on this yet, but talks are ongoing. See, this is why it can become complicated, because we know Wirtz wants to come to Liverpool. We know Liverpool want him. We know Leverkusen are going to sell him to Liverpool. But if there's another player thrown into the mix here, or possibly two, what I can't say to you is what Harvey Elliott's thought process is on the idea of going to Bayer Leverkusen, and I certainly couldn't say the same for Jarell Quansah. So that is part of the delay, and that's the kind of how do I say this, uncertainty that I have with the time frame. Because if there was nothing to do there, then I could tell you this deal would probably have been done by now. But again, nothing to worry about it. Jay Percy of The Telegraph said Arne Slot identified Wirtz as a priority acquisition. Also, Liverpool are edging closer to an agreement with Florian Wirtz and are advancing in talks despite their offer not being accepted yet. Now, there's some people that said it's been rejected. I don't believe it has. I don't believe the offer has actually been rejected. I do think that offer is still on the table and being worked through. Dominic King said everything points to Liverpool securing Florian Wirtz soon. Neither they nor Leverkusen want discussions to drag on. Currently, the bid package is €130 million. Leverkusen want €150 million. Doing business at about €143 million or £120 million would shatter transfer records. And then finally, Caoimhín Kelleher to Brentford, here we go, said Fabrizio Romano. Deal done for the goalkeeper to join from Liverpool on an £18 million package fee with add-ons included. Mark Flecken will leave Brentford and join Bayer Leverkusen for €10 million. So that's kind of where we're at. Now, I do have some more up-to-date stuff I'll move on to in a minute, but I need to get back into the super chats because they're building up and I hate people thinking I've forgotten them. Mitchell. Absolute legend, mate. Thank you. I bumped into a lovely young man as well earlier on. We were down in a KFC with the family and he came up and asked for a photo. And he was so polite and so lovely. He said, I'm really sorry for interrupting your family meal. It was KFC, but we're all right, man. It's all right. It's all good. And he said, can I have a photo with you? It was so lovely. Everybody I meet when I'm out and about, man, you're always so nice. So thank you for that. Even if I'm out with my family, everybody when they come up is always so nice and pleasant and respectful. And I always appreciate it. But if you do see me and you want a photo or you want to say hello, I'm more than approachable. Do come up and say hello. Right. JC89, thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Lewis Grizzly as well. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you. Right, what have we got here? Vussy LFC said, evening everyone. Craig, how do you feel about Pep Lijnders to Man City all the way from South Africa? So I really don't like it. And again, people get worked up when I say these things out loud because they think their opinion is the only one that's worth. I'm old, big enough, ugly enough to respect everyone's view on it. But for me, dude, it stinks. And I don't like it one bit. People try to make other comparisons like Johnny Hiding being a former Everton player. I don't care. That's very different. We're talking about somebody who spent 10 years inside the Liverpool camp working to battle against Pep Guardiola and Manchester City and everything that they, well, stand for, shall we say, just to be careful here. And then said afterwards as well that he's not going to be a number 2 anywhere else. And then goes and runs off the Pep. So for me, dude, and again, just my opinion, it stinks and I don't like it one bit. But much love to you, my friend, and thank you for joining us. Stevie Boy, any truth to the rumours that Liverpool make a play for Ederson for 50 million? Do you know what, man? I've been trying to find that out because I've seen the same reports you have. Truth is, I don't know. It would take a change in tack from Liverpool, though, because, you know, previously I've been told that he's not the right type of profile for the way that Arne Slot wants that position to be played. I don't know if something's changed or not, but like your good self, mate, when I seen that report, my ears certainly perked up, and I'd love it to be true, because as you know, I'm a fan of his. Do you think Wirtz is worth that kind of money? 100% yes. I'm not joking, Rohan. I mean, you know, I know I get carried away, and I know we can all get carried away as Liverpool fans in these big moments, but go back and look at my streams from even 3 weeks ago when it looked like he was going to Bayern City or somewhere else. I said he's going to be a difference maker to whoever signs him, and I think that they become favourites for the Champions League or maybe even the Premier League. That's how much I rate Wirtz. I think you're looking at a potential Ballon d'Or winner in the future. That's how good I think this kid is. Himself and Jamal Musiala, in my opinion, the two best in the Bundesliga. And we're about to bring in a player that I think you're going to very much enjoy watching. I really do. Two-footed, although naturally right-footed. Can operate centrally, can operate deeper centrally, can operate off the left. And again, just turned 22 years of age as well. So, yeah, I do think he's worth it. And again, we've often thrown around the phrase generational talent. With this one, we're getting one. And again, remember, he's already come back from an ACL as well at such a young age. So, very, very impressive. And Leverkusen always knew what they were getting. In fact, Leverkusen had to break a bit of an unwritten agreement between themselves and Cologne. There was always this unspoken, unwritten agreement that they don't poach each other's youth players. And Leverkusen and Rudi Voller broke that agreement when they went in for Florian Wirtz because they knew what a talent he was and they just wanted him to come in. So, yeah, he's going to be big, man. He's going to be a huge player for us. Did you hear about the shootings here in Fairgreen Shopping Centre in Carlow? 9-shot shooter killed by Gardaí and a bomb on his leg. Is this really Ireland? So my wife mentioned something to me about the Tesco, I think it was, Whitehammer, in Carlow, and that's so scary. Whatever happens here in Ireland, we often see people beaten up or stabbings or stuff like that. But man, to have a shooting like that with 9 people shot, like you've mentioned, it's terrifying. And I sincerely hope everybody in that neck of the woods can stay safe. Yeah, still catching up on it though, my man. It's but love to you. You're obviously safe. I'm very glad to hear that. But yeah, it's scary stuff, no doubt about it, man. Wirtz imminent and going to see Wet Leg. Good times. Wet Leg? I don't know what Wet Leg is, but cool. Up the Scousers, up the Irish. Yes, there we go. What a super chat that is, Lewis. Yes, up the Scousers, up the Irish. We love that. Keep them coming. Any news on Jamie Bevan transfer from Royal Oak? I'm going to say no. No on that one, mate. Come back to me. If Wirtz comes in as a central attacking midfielder, does that put Szoboszlai on the bench? Feel gutted for him if that's the case. Would love to see Wirtz, Bobby type false 9. I'm guessing, because I'm not in our manager's mind, but I think we're going to see a 4-2-2-2. That's what I'm going to guess. Remember before we seen Szoboszlai and Jones playing that kind of false 9, one drops, one goes, one drops, one goes. I have a feeling that might be what we see here. But the flexibility and the flexibility, and the versatility of him means that, yeah, you're probably going to see Dom move to a more naturally right-sided position in the midfield. And certainly, I like the way you've mentioned that, because you didn't just go in for the starting 11, because a lot of people just get worked up about one game, one starting 11, and think that that's the end of Szoboszlai forever. It isn't, but like yourself, man, I'm trying to figure out, are we going to see a false 9? Because if we're going to see a false 9, then I'd be very intrigued to see how much we really want to spend on a striker. But right now, the reports are that he's been promised the number 10 role, that it's his. So, and if you're spending that much money on a player, to be fair, you kind of would want to be giving him that assurance that, yes, we know exactly where we're going to utilise you. And that was one of the things that won him around when he spoke with Arne Slot versus when he spoke with Vincent Kompany. The difference was huge, with a clear plan and how he wants to be utilised with Arne, and not so much so apparently with Vincent Kompany. Craig, what will Anfield Agenda be like during the off-season? I'm asking as a fairly new member on here. Busy, man, busy. You might see a little bit of... Usually June is a little bit slower, but because the transfer windows open 1st of June to the 10th of June and then 16th on, I expect it to be busy, John. But certainly, I'm not taking a break. I tried to do 28 days in a month, usually, is what I tried to do. So, going to try to do that again. We've just had another record month on the channel. We've had nearly 10,000 subscribers over the last 28 days, over 12 million views. I mean, I'm not stopping, dude. I'm still pinching myself. Video we put up earlier on today has already done 100,000 views. So yeah, busy, but no break, mate, all the way through. It's because it doesn't feel like work, John, and that's the truth. You know, coming on here to have a chat with everybody, it's a pleasure. It just does not feel like I'm working, so I don't want to take time off. I miss everybody when I do. I wonder if there's an awkwardness in the German camp. Oh, I was thinking the very same thing, Lewis. There has to be, right? Because there'd be so many Bayern players there, and they really did make a big play to try and bring in Florian Wirtz. So I wonder, yeah, I think there probably is a little bit, but they are resigned to the fact that they aren't going to get him. We were the only team that pushed PSG to penalties, said Rusba. Yep, certainly the closest, and Luis Enrique mentioned that after the game last night. Spoke about Villa giving them a tough time as well. Funnily enough, not really much of a mention of Arsenal there, but yeah, they deserved it. You know, they absolutely deserved it. Whatever we think about the sports washing aspect of it and everything else, you know, that's definitely in the conversation, but that was some performance last night. And Doué is just absolutely incredible. And they were deserving winners. And the tifo that was unveiled in memory of Luis Enrique's daughter as well was very heartwarming. And it was a win for football yesterday. I thought it was a great occasion. And it was one of the best performances I've seen in a final from a team. Just really on it. No fear in them. Like we've seen when they came to Anfield, they don't have fear. You know, with that impetuousness of youth, they just go out there and get the job done, and they're a machine. And also, let's not forget, we get to celebrate the fact that I don't have to listen to Rio Ferdinand on TNT Sports anymore now, which is another bonus from last night. Farron Davies. I think we could have gotten more for Kelleher, but glad he's gone to a top club like Brentford. He'll be very good for them, for sure. Interesting you bring that up, because we probably could have gotten more from him. But like I've mentioned, you kind of have to think of all of this as being linked with the Wirtz deal to some extent, because Ten Lasso wanted to go and get Flecken from Brentford. Brentford could have probably played a little bit more hardball on the price, but they knew that if they could agree a deal with Liverpool for Kelleher, which they have for about 18 million all in, then it works for everybody, and it frees up a problem for Leverkusen, which again would probably curry us a little bit of favour with them. So I think all these things are done for a reason, and I think it will certainly help with the negotiations going forward for the situation with Florian Wirtz. But yeah, like you, I think he probably could have got a bigger move, being quite honest with you. But obviously he liked what he heard from Thomas Frank in Brentford, and it looks like he's going to become a Brentford player. And as an Irishman, I'm just happy for him that he goes to be a Premier League #1 now. Do you think we should try to yoink Gyökeres from Arsenal and others? I'm not too sure about him, but the fume would be amazing. I've always been told no on him. Whenever I've spoken to anybody in and around journalism in Liverpool, no, nobody, not one person has ever said to me anything other than no from a Liverpool perspective. So I don't know if I still have this in my notes, but let me read through something from yesterday, because it kind of ties it all together. And I meant to read it out yesterday, but I don't think I did. 1 second. Yeah, here it is. So this is why I think no. Julian Ward, Liverpool's technical director, has a mantra when it comes to recruitment. His belief is that new signings should ideally have had a career before their Liverpool career. Frimpong has been a key part of Leverkusen's double winning side. So, like I've said before, when it comes to Gyökeres, he hasn't been proven in a high enough league. Now, we can all agree or disagree on that. There's no denying he knows where the net is. There's no denying he's done it in Lisbon for many years. And there's no denying that he did it at Coventry. But that isn't Liverpool. That isn't the Premier League. And that isn't the top tier of football. And that's the problem. It would be like running the risk of Darwin Núñez again, despite what we all may think. And I think for what it's worth, he would do better than Darwin Núñez. But no, I've never been given any encouragement on him in Liverpool. But I think that's been borne out as well now. As you see, you never see our name really linked with him. Percentage on Wirtz and how much goals and assists next season. Percentage 99.9. Genuinely, there's not one concern I have in that deal falling through. Not one. I'm really positive that deal gets done. And goals and assists, haven't got a clue. I don't know how long it'll take him to settle into the Prem. Genuinely, he could hit the ground running. He could be brilliant from moment one. Or you could look at it and think, all right, maybe physically, Premier League could be a little bit different from defenders, a little bit more rough. The league a little bit faster paced at times. So you're going to have to give him time to settle in. But excited to see him in pre-season, Stephen. And again, thank you, my man, for being with us. Right, let's check some more comments before I finish up on them super chats as well. I don't want the chat to feel I'm just ignoring them as well. Dave, how are you? Dave Abaj said, any news on Kerkez coming to Liverpool? So deal, package-wise, has been agreed between him and Liverpool Football Club, wages, that kind of stuff. But what I don't know about is any agreement as of yet with Bournemouth. I think those conversations are going to start from early this week coming up. Romano seems to be very confident on it. Now look, I can say to you, he will become a Liverpool player, but I don't know at what number at this point. I know that Liverpool are probably 7 or 8 million below what Bournemouth are asking for, but the players made it very clear as well where he wants to go. Kev Parker, how are you, Kev? Said Craig, if Diaz goes to Saudi, we could get a bit more money than is worth, as we know they have the money. I would say you're probably right there, Kev. If you're going to look at the Saudi deal, I would expect Liverpool to be asking 85 million euro, so just over 70 million pound. And I think that would be a pretty good price for a player who's heading for 29 and has 2 years to go on his deal. But like I said before, I'm in no rush to get rid of Luis Diaz. And I don't think many Liverpool fans are. But if he wants to move and the club have a plan in place, I'm all for letting it happen. Morganski said, I think we'll get a project winger if Diaz goes. I could see a Malik Fofana. Is that the kid from Lyon? Because he's definitely been linked at some points. And if I'm remembering correctly as well, Morganski, I think he's the guy who said that he wants to play for Liverpool. That'd be the dream move for him. Also, Father's Day is coming up over the next week. So if you're on Cameo and you're thinking, who can I get to say Happy Father's Day to my dad? Well, Cameo link in the description. So if you want me to call your dad, see you next Tuesday, or if you'd like me to give him a Ric Flair, woo, you know what to do. Diaz must not go. Look, I'm with you, my man. I'm with you. I've no desire or want to push him out the door. But what I can't sit here and deny is the amount of stories linking him. And if you include his statement and now his girlfriend's statement, it certainly feels like he might be heading off. But I'm with you, my man. I don't see any rush to move him out. I think we've got two great options on the left-hand side. Haven't heard a Ric Flair from you in a while. I know. I was only thinking that the other day. I actually feel bad about that because my soul really loves the Ric Flair woo. Like that's part of my character. But I mean character. I don't mean the character I play or anything. I mean me as a part of my aura, my inner self. Like I fucking love Ric Flair. I'm a Poundland wannabe Ric Flair, but God, I love it. It's just if you're at home, give it a lash yourself. Honestly, just walk around the gaff, give it a big woo. I promise you're going to feel good. Right, let's keep going. Off the post said, if we get Wirtz, do we definitely get a striker? Don't know. Again, I won't lie to you. If I know nothing, I'll tell you I know nothing. And I know nothing on the striker situation. Honestly, a month ago, I wouldn't have thought Liverpool would be looking to spend this much on a 10. I would have thought Cherky would have probably been more likely for us. But this Wirtz deal is just apparently really fast forwarded once Liverpool did get encouragement that he was willing to leave Germany, because everybody assumed he was going to either go to Bayern Munich or stay one more year at Leverkusen. And when he made the decision that he's ready to take that next step, Liverpool moved really quickly. And, well, we will say the rest, as they say, is history really soon. But I don't know on the striker front, mate. You could name the exact player we're going for, and I could only be honest with you and say I don't know. Thoughts on Osimhen? Reports linking us with him. Again, like I said earlier on about Victor Gyökeres, when his name has come up, I've not been given any encouragement on it, but he is available, and it doesn't look like it'll be Chelsea that'll be signing him, and I don't think he's the money. Galatasaray have the money to make him permanent, so I've no idea is the honest answer, but I would be very surprised if he ended up at Liverpool. Really surprised. If Liverpool do a swap deal for Wirtz, and by the way, we have to start calling him Wirtz now because that's apparently how it's pronounced. And you know me, I'm a stickler for the pronunciation. If Liverpool do a swap deal for Wirtz and Elliott's in the deal, then we shouldn't be paying Leverkusen over 90 million because Elliott's over 50 million. I'm trying to just figure out what I think would be a fair deal. For me, if we're talking pounds, I would say I'd be doing business at £80 million plus Elliott. I think I'd value Elliott around the 40 million mark. So that's 120 in pound. In euro, then you're probably up to about 135, 140. That's the kind of number I'd be comfortable at. But I've no idea what Harvey Elliott's thought process is on a potential move to Germany. I really just don't know. If I'm him, I'd probably want to stay in the Premier League and establish myself there. If Newcastle really are interested in Harvey Elliott, I think as much as it would improve them, I think it would also be a great move for him. But we're going to have to just wait and see. I'm not sure exactly how receptive Kwanzaa or Elliott would be to a move to Leverkusen. I can't sit here and tell you that because I just don't know. But what we do know is Leverkusen are interested. Wirtz, 2 years in a row, German Player of the Year, played 8 games in the Champions League this season, 5 Man of the Match awards, absolute baller, said John Allison. We love that, John. And I agree. I think he is a huge difference maker. I'm going to go big here, and I'm going to say something that you're probably going to just go, yeah, Craig, you're just saying this because, and maybe there is a little bit of that, but I'm going to say that this would be a better move for us than Bellingham would have been. I know that's a big statement, and I still wish we had have signed Jude Bellingham because I still think he'd have been incredible. But I never thought Wirtz was going to be on the table for us ever. So for me, hand on heart, not trying to be salty or reinvent history, I would take Wirtz right now over Bellingham if both of them were put in front of us as options. That's how excited I am about it. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Looking good with the Jeremie Frimpong profile pick as well, my man. Thank you. Lewis Grizzly. Ekitike or Alvarez for you? 100% Julian Alvarez. Without any hesitation. Ekitike, I would be more interested at about the 60 million euro mark, 65 million euro mark. The 100 million or 85 million pound just seems very excessive. And he's unproven enough for me at that level. So I would take Julian Alvarez, but can we convince Alvarez and his partner to come and live in the less tropical climate, let's say, of the UK rather than Spain? That I don't know. Cooks said, hey Craig, Pep to City just doesn't feel right. Thoughts? I hate it. I hate it, mate. I've made no bones about this. I really, really hate it. And it feels snide to me. It's like all of a sudden people forget that rivalries exist. And remember how much I despise Manchester City. So for me, if you're going to them, that is an absolute slap in the face to everything that we stand for and the way we've operated as a football club versus the way they go about stuff and have done it. You're joining a group of cheats as far as I'm concerned, mate. So for me, it's a huge slap in the face from Lijnders if he does that, but he's his own man and he's free to do what he wants. And everyone's free to have a different opinion on it as well. But for me, I don't like it one bit. Do you reckon Drogheda will win the League of Ireland? No idea. No, sorry, man, don't know. Haven't really paid too much attention to the start of this season. Although I've seen Shelbourne's had some mixed results. But, maybe Duffer and the boys are still celebrating last year's league title. But honestly, I don't know. Is Jamie Gittins a possible replacement for Diaz? Theoretically, he could be. But again, I don't know of where he would be on Liverpool's possible recruitment list. Now, it does look like Gittins' price has become a little bit more realistic. Midpoint of last season, I think I remember Dortmund mentioning €100 million was going to be the price on his head. But now €60 million is a price doing the round. So that would be a decision that I guess the club would have to weigh up. I'd be a liar to say yes or no, but it's certainly a name that's been mentioned and looked at. That's all I can say. Haris, always lovely to see you, my man. Appreciate you. Right, folks, couple of things. Do hit that subscribe button for me if you can. Drop a like on the stream. As you can see, we've just gone over 319,000 subscribers, which is incredible. Thank you. Sunil said the CF deal will come into play once we sell Darwin. The centre forward deal, I think you're right, Sunil. You got to make sure you get Darwin out the door, and then we'll see what happens after that. I'm really intrigued to see how much we get for Darwin. Actually, let's try that as the first poll of the night. Let's ask everyone what they think we will get for Mr. Darwin Núñez. So bear with me. Right, so some numbers. Let's try. We're going to go in pound sterling, so surely won't take less than that. Okay. Right, so how much will Liverpool get for Darwin? 40 mil, 50 mil, 60 mil, 70 mil. Click on that, and that's in pound sterling, by the way. So click on that. We'll get back to that in a while, but do let me know. Undisclosed fee could absolutely happen, mate. If it's low and we want to make it look a bit more palatable, undisclosed fee is definitely a possibility. If Edwards gets a tenner, it's a masterclass again, say Keane Core. Harry said, I'd take a Freddo for him. Well, Harry, Freddos are expensive these days, dude. Do you not see the price of Freddos these days? The world's lost its mind. Kelly, how are we? The evening, young Craig. Good evening, Kelly. Whoop, whoop. Just heard for a box of Acme Dynamite, we can get Roadrunner. Meep, meep. We had a few Roadrunners over the years. I mean, Raheem Sterling always reminded me a bit of a Roadrunner, running down some blind alleys at times as well. But yeah, I will look. I want pace in our team, Kelly, and that's why I've always kind of been open to the idea of Anthony Gordon. I am Jamie Bevan, and I will not be leaving Royal Oak. Well, that's dashed me hopes, Jamie. God, I was excited earlier on, mate, when I thought there was an opportunity that you would leave Royal Oak to come and join us. But, you know, you obviously haven't watched my FIFA videos, Jamie. If me and you sat down in a room, table full of crunchies, coffee, conversation, Royal Oak will be a thing of the past, mate, and you'll be giving it the old Axeline before you know what's up, Jamie. So, you never say never, dude. Me and you, conversation, table full of crunchies, coffee, we'll make a deal. Lewis said, I hope we can get a fully fit Jota this season. I'd sell him. I would. I've said this all the way through. I'm far more open to the idea of just selling both our central strikers than Diaz. You know, we know Darwin's going to go. But for me, I'm way more open to Darwin and Jota going than Darwin and Diaz going. That will be just me, though. Tom said, LFC looking to buy this PSR cycle and sell next one. Honestly, Tom, I don't know the ins and outs of our PSR requirements with regards to the wiggle room we'd have this cycle and next cycle. But either way, like our former CEO said, knowing the owners the way he does, Liverpool will start to want to recoup some money after we splash the money here at the start of the window. Yeah, we haven't though, John. We haven't. You know, you're going to have to be better than the Phil McCracken jokes, dude. Come on. Going to have to be better than that. You know, them, the bend-overs, you know, we've heard them all before. I'm thinking of buying a pub, though, over here in Gorey. It's called the Cock and Cider. It's a very famous establishment here, known for their cider. Stevie Boy said, interesting. Had Bellingham signed for Liverpool, would the ex-right back still be here? Yes, I'm going to say yes. I'd say he certainly would have helped in Trent's thought process when you talk about settling into a new country and that. So yeah, I'm going to say he would if that had happened. Right, I have a couple of things that have been sent to me that I haven't had a chance to have a look at yet. So, Bild are reporting right now that Luis Diaz has decided to leave Liverpool. So again, I'm going to read this out. Mark sent it on to me, and thank you, Mark. Luis Diaz has decided, according to Bild in Germany, to leave Liverpool. And it feels that way. You know, if you go off his partner statement and his own statement over the past day or two, it definitely looks like that's going to be the case. Right, so we have the updated club rankings as well here from UEFA. Real Madrid top, Man City second, Bayern Munich third, Liverpool fourth, Paris Saint-Germain fifth, Inter Milan sixth, Chelsea seventh, Borussia Dortmund eighth, Roma ninth, Barcelona 10th. Hang on a minute. I'm calling shenanigans on that. How can the best team in Europe not be in the top 10? Don't be telling that to Mikel Arteta or he'll be crying. He'll be crying. There'll be tears before bedtime. Arsenal not in the top 10. That's a PGMOL at work there for you, mate. You know what I mean? PGMOL screwing Arsenal out of the top 10 there in the rankings. Who do you think is the best player right now in the world? Probably Lamine Yamal. In all honesty, if we're going off who I would take to drop into a team right now in the world, that young man has the world at his feet. Yeah, it's got to be him. He's incredible. Just incredible. Just a joy to watch. Casper said, I'll pay them to take him. Darwin, yeah, I'll chip in. If that's what we're talking about, dude, I'll chip in. For Darwin, 40 million in Europe, 60 million if it's Saudi. Even 40 million just feels like we're getting shafted, doesn't it? Like, that's a pretty big loss to take. Yeah, let's check back in with the poll, because I really don't know what to be thinking with regards to his value. So we did ask, and if you haven't voted, there's still time to do so. It's only up 5 minutes, but we've already had almost 1,500 votes, so thank you to everyone on that one. How much will we get for Darwin Núñez? 40 million, 50 million, 60 million, or 70 million? And of course, we will, if you're going below 40 million, vote 40 million. If you're going above 70 million, vote 70 million. But we'll get back to that in a bit. Ben Palmer, how are we, Ben? Said we should, or Palmer, I should say, Ben, sorry. We should offer them 160 plus Núñez. Awful attitude. Núñez, look, mate, I can't wait to get rid of him. Him and his eastbound and down cornrows that he showed up with for the last game of the season. Yeah, the sooner the better we say bye-bye, Mr. Darwin Núñez. Thank you very much. I just want to move on from that chapter. I've never been as frustrated. Him and Naby Keita are two players that I really look forward to joining. Two players I was really hyped about. And two players that have absolutely just disappointed. Zach said, Craig, I think Arne Slot learned something from that PSG game. I think he saw the way PSG use their fullbacks, attacking but capable defensively. Do you think it allows more control in games? Yes. And also, their press is a thing of beauty. The energy that Paris Saint-Germain team and the aggressiveness that they set out all over the pitch, it was daunting. By far and away, the best team I've seen Liverpool play in a few years. Like, really, really, really good. And I have to say, man, I totally underestimated them. But the job that Luis Enrique has done there and the aggression with which they set about their business and the fearlessness, it was an incredible thing to look at, you know, from a neutral's perspective, watching that final. From minute one, you knew what way it was going. Olivier, said, I don't think people understand the quality Wirtz possesses. His composure and vision is unreal. Yep. And one thing, Sheldon, that I've always said I wanted in this Liverpool team was somebody to operate between the lines. Somebody to give options when we're playing against a low block. And Florian Wirtz is going to be that guy and more. I've often looked and said I would have killed to have David Silva in Liverpool at some point. This kid is going to be streets ahead again. He is going to be a difference maker. And I do agree with you, mate. I really think people are underestimating quite what a stature of a signing this is going to be. And anybody who is on social media and is having to listen to City fans or Arsenal fans or anybody else try to belittle this signing or the amount of money involved in it, just laugh in their face, because they deserve it. Because I'm telling you now, if Arsenal were about to sign Wirtz, we'd never hear the end of it. They'd already be demanding the Premier League trophy off us. So yeah, I agree. It's going to be brilliant. Dave said, Craig, I called PSG after the City game. They're I have to say, Dave, I totally underestimated them. Even when we got drawn against them, I totally underestimated them. And I even when we won over there, I thought, oh, well, that's okay. That was their best chance. We're gonna do all right at Anfield. And they came and they played and they did what they said they were going to do. And very impressive. The final was kids versus granddads. Shame we weren't there. Imagine it was Barcelona and PSG. That could have been like 8-6 or something, that one, Kev. But it was. Inter Milan just looked jaded, weary, and lacking ideas. Paris Saint-Germain just tore into them on every aspect. It was a masterclass. It really was. Number 7 shirt for Florian Wirtz. New King Kenny. That good? Yeah, I wonder. Look, if Diaz moves on and the 7 shirt's up for grabs, mate, I'm with you. Florian Wirtz would be a more than good number 7 for Liverpool Football Club. I don't know if 23 or 27 are still in his thought processes, but if Lucho's going to leave, I'm right there with you, Carl. Give him that number 7 shirt. Absolutely a deserving recipient of it. Eli Woods said, Wirtz glides like Eden Hazard, well, without the Burger King fondness, with David Silva's passing ability. He's incredible, honestly. And he is naturally right-footed, but is more than capable off either foot. AK King Cody said, hey Craig, I was curious if I could have the community's thoughts on the formation I sent you. My email, cody.nick, the possible formation picture. Mate, I don't know the email off the top of my head. If you've seen my inbox at the minute, it's a bit of a mess. People have been very kindly emailing and sending in pictures of the parade and all that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to get through as many of them as I can to email people back, but I'm a little bit overwhelmed at the minute. So I don't know the formation, mate. In the last 3 days, I've got at least 100 emails. So I can't keep up with them all at the minute, dude. Sorry. So if you want to just throw in the formation, we can have a chat about it, but I don't know it off the top of my head, dude. They know they can't undermine the Wirtz signing, Craig, so they're doing the City walked away. Yeah, walked away. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Some gobshite, and I use that term, and that's me being nice, tried to jump into the comments of one of our videos to say, you're obsessed about Man City because of a short that I made. And the short was based off a Manchester City post that said Liverpool tried to hijack their move for Ryan Cherky on Wednesday. And I just laughed at it and said, tried to hijack a move for a player that was begging to join Liverpool. No hijacking involved there whatsoever. If Liverpool wanted Ryan Cherky, he'd be a Liverpool player and he would have told Man City where to go. But look, these fucking Egypts, and that's what they are, they need to make themselves feel better, so they don't live in the real world. Simple as that. But no doubt this person will be going back to the Chelsea jersey soon enough anyway. Do you think Frimpong was a factor for Wirtz? Well, from maybe helping him decide to come to Liverpool, perhaps. I don't think he would have been a factor in convincing Arne Slot or Liverpool about Wirtz, because obviously they would have known exactly how good he is. But I remember reading a story a few days ago that said when Wirtz was coming through, Frimpong used to give him lifts to training and that before Florian was driving. So definitely good mates, and I'm sure the fact that Jeremie Frimpong has made his move across, and I loved the way there's a picture of him with all of his family at the AXA training centre, and I don't know if it's his mum, but somebody's holding up a shirt to the front, and then there's about 10, 12 people in the picture. Just a class photo, man. Just really heartwarming to see all of his extended family being that hyped for his move to Liverpool. I think it's his father's team as well. So again, Jeremie Frimpong, welcome to the greatest football club on the planet, my man. Any City players you'd want if City are found guilty? I could be a shithouse and say no, but I'd take Rodri in a heartbeat. But honestly, that whole club for me, it just... I want everyone disinfected of all the grubbiness. I hate them. I can't say anything else. I hate them. I hate everything that they've gone about. and what they've done and the way that they've dragged it out and the way that everyone's now becoming desensitized to all the shenanigans that went on beforehand and now they're just thought of as this big team. I really, really hope they get held to account. I really do. Vidal said, let's celebrate Man City going trophyless this season. Yes, but I'd rather celebrate them getting relegated. That would be better for me, mate. I'm just, as a football fan, I'm just fed up of how long this has taken and fed up with how many roadblocks and financial headaches they're thrown in the way for the Premier League and how much money is having to be spent to fight this case. And the whole thing stinks to high heaven. And what we've seen now over the last few years is all the sports washing just coming up trumps. You know, City have won the Champions League. PSG/Qatar have now won the Champions League. And sports washing is getting to do what it wants to do. And I just don't like it as a football fan. Yeah, I don't like that being rewarded. So, is Wirtz a replacement to Diaz, Núñez, Elliott? Yeah, really good question. Elliott would be my initial answer, like an upgrade on Elliott. But I couldn't rule out him maybe playing in the false nine like others have said, SDO. Diaz, again, I can see where you're coming from because we know if Wirtz does operate in a wider position, he prefers to come in off the left. So, don't know. You know, I really don't know because Chiesa, Salah, Jota, Wirtz, Gakpo, Darwin's gone, Diaz gone. Well, if he goes, you probably still one more short in there. So I think that would make sense then to be the striker. But do we revisit for another wide player? I'd like a bit more pace in our attack. I don't really care whether it's central or in a wide position. I just think we need a little bit more pace. Elmir, always lovely to see you in, bro. Does anybody else think that when Elmir's picture comes up, he looks a little bit like the Irish guy? Because every time I see your picture come up in the black and white image, mate, it just reminds me of Michael Ramsey and the Irish guy. So always makes me smile when I see your picture. What's the latest? Well, let me give you the very latest now, my man. 1 second. So, Bayer Leverkusen are optimistic to get the deal done quickly, said Florian Plettenberg. It's the ambition of both clubs and I expect total agreement in the next couple of days. There are also still talks regarding potential player from Liverpool, combined transfer fee between 120 to 140 million euro. Both teams are close. The atmosphere is very positive for Florian Wirtz, is waiting for the green light. Again, Liverpool want this done ideally before they play that game on Wednesday so that he can settle in and just stay with the German national team. So I would say tomorrow might be a big day. I'm hoping we see him on a plane tomorrow, but there's a little bit longer to go. Right, where else are we at? Sorry, some more stuff to go back through. Everything points to Liverpool securing Florian Wirtz soon, said Dominic King. Neither they nor Leverkusen want discussions to drag on. Currently, the bid package is 130 million euro. Leverkusen want 150 million euro. Doing business at 143 or 120 million pound would still shatter records. Jay Percy of The Telegraph said Liverpool are edging closer to an agreement for Florian Wirtz and are advancing in talks despite their offer not being accepted. Right, one quick message before I forget. Myself and Connor have been talking over the last day or two, and what we've decided is that after our Cork show in August, no more Anfield Agenda live shows for at least 12 to 18 months. The channel's getting really, really busy for us, and every second is important for us because we're a two-man operation, and of course we have somebody else helping us out with some socials as well. But we're going to do that show in August, and after that, not going to do another live one. The only thing that will get me back is if we do something charitable over in Liverpool. I'll happily show up for that one, but other than that, I'm going to knock the live shows on the head. And I'll tell you why, a couple of reasons. One, I never thought I'd be able to do one. Never thought I'd be able to stand on a stage and do even one. But we've now done 3 in Liverpool, Dublin, Belfast. We're doing Cork. We've done Cardiff. We were supposed to do Boston, but obviously that one didn't work out. And I just think I've proven that I can do it. And I want to just settle into what we're doing on here and focus on that. Because as you can see, we're going in the right direction. I don't want to lose any traction or be distracted. So last show going to be in Cork, and then unless we do a charity gig in Liverpool, no more live shows for the foreseeable. And I hope you understand where I'm coming from on that one, but it was just it takes me a lot mentally to get to do them. I've been bagging nerves before them as well. Right, Sunil said, I don't think we sign a DM if we keep hold of Endo. I feel we go with Wirtz, Kerkez and a centre-back, a centre-forward. Nunes, ELLIOTT, Tsimikas out. We can raise 100 to 150 million in sales. Diaz shouldn't leave. We can look at him and Jota next summer. I do think, though, value-wise, cashing in on Diaz now makes sense. You don't want to get down to 1 year to go. You just don't. So I would say if Liverpool don't want to renew, and again, as you can see from many journalist posts, there has been no communication about a renewal or an extension for Diaz. So I think that one's kind of maybe just edging towards him going to Saudi, the way things look. But I do agree with you about the player sales. Just even the ones you've mentioned there, I could see us bringing in 150. S4T said, only City player I'd take is Omar Marmoush. Well, you know my take on him, mate. Wonderful player. Would have loved Liverpool to have signed him. Think City overpaid a little bit, wages and in the fee at the time, but really, really good player. And yeah, like I said, I would have loved him at Liverpool. Stephen Shupping said, Craig, you help me find positivity each day. I get to be here in your chat with you and everyone else. Thank you. Mate, nothing to thank me for. Pleasure. Thank you for being in with us. Dragon, appreciate you as well, Dragon77. Thank you. Negotiations between Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen for Florian Wirtz are ongoing. One thing remains clear. Florian Wirtz only wants to play for Liverpool. Yep. Like I've said a few days ago, I know it's frustrating. And trust me, I'm as frustrated as everybody waiting for this one to get done because I'm looking forward to being proved right. Because I'm still getting loads of grief in some of the comments off people. But like I said a week or two ago, Frimpong, I nailed exactly how that was going to happen and when, and it did. Like I've said, Wirtz, nothing to be concerned about there. Liverpool and Leverkusen just trying to thrash out the details of it. And then we move on to Kerkez. After that, well, I'm going to have to get back to studying and trying to find information because I'm dry after that one. Thank you, Jeff. Look, I think that's all we have in life is our word and our integrity, honestly. Yeah, I just appreciate it, but all I can ever do is just be me, my man. You know, whether you like me, hate me, or whatever, I am who I am, and I'm always just going to be honest about who I am and what I think. But I do appreciate you, Jeff. You're always so kind. I feel uncomfortable reading out some of these things in all honesty because I'm not a very braggadocious type of human being, nor do I agree with half of what's written in a positive sense. But I really appreciate it. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why the numbers are what they are, but my goodness, I'm so appreciative of each and every one of you. Have you noticed we got the gold verification badge on X, by the way? Very happy about that one. It was a process to go through to get it, but and obviously a financial one as well. But really happy now. We hope that helps the account stand out a little bit on there, and yeah, it just feels good to have that gold verification badge. So we are now a properly established media entity. Ash Hind said, hi Craig, are you concerned we might burn out Gravenberch if we don't sign another defensive midfielder? Absolutely, mate. Yeah, I think my concern was all the way through last season as well. I felt we were that one injury to him or to Virgil away from a big problem. What I'm wondering is, and I'm certainly open to this myself, is are we going to see Stefan Bajcetic come in and get a chance to operate in that deeper lying role? I hope he does, because I really, really think there's a good footballer in there. But we're going to have to wait and see what Arne does in pre-season with him. Or, you know, there's talk that Real Madrid are going to look for Angelo Stiller, which would also be a good thing for us in a weird way, because it would probably mean that they'd forget about Alexis McAllister. Right, Itachi, how are you, bro? Evening, Craig. How are you, my friend? I'm doing fine. Again, you've answered my question for me as well. I'm doing fine, my man. I have a feeling this is the week we'll get Wirtz and Kerkez done. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Now remember, we can only register one more player from the June 1st to June 10th window. So even if we do get, let's say, Wirtz and Frimpong registered first, we'll have to wait till the 16th to officially register Milos Kerkez, because you can only sign two players in that early part of the window. What's this one? News coming into me here all the time. Right, so the likely sale of Florian Wirtz allows Bayer Leverkusen to invest heavily into a new defensive boss, a playmaker, and a winger. Bayer want to put together a team that meets the highest national standards despite all the high-profile departures. So that's coming from Kicker. Then Anfield Sector, which I agree with, said, I mean, it couldn't be any more obvious a deal will get agreed. Leverkusen are planning the whole transfer window around it already. Yep, look, I can only keep repeating it. Nobody needs to be concerned around Florian Wirtz Liverpool. I know it's a pain in the arse waiting, but it's going to happen. Anything Liverpool have posted to say with Kicker, the final fee for Wirtz will be in excess of 140 million and likely even above the 150 million euro mark. Interesting. I don't know if I agree with that, especially the above the 150 million euro mark. I still think we're going to see a number about I think the 140 euro might be right. But I guess if there's a player or two involved and their valuations are different, and I don't know, there's a better PSR calculation or something, I'll leave that to the accountants to figure out. Martin Aston said, I think Brentford are getting Kelleher too cheap. 18 million is a bargain. It is, but again, I think there needs to be some context in it. Look who Flecken, Brentford's goalkeeper, is going to, Leverkusen. They obviously want to get him at a reasonable fee, and then Brentford in turn want to spend as little as they can. So Liverpool have greased the wheels of this deal so that Flecken can go from Brentford to Leverkusen. Kelleher can go to Brentford, and that carries us a little bit of favour as well with Leverkusen and could help grease the wheels along. What I can't sit here and say to you is how everyone's PSR and FFP calculations are going along. I don't really understand the ins and outs of that. So maybe there's part of these deals with Kelleher being homegrown, because remember, he is. So that 18 million to Liverpool is a full 18 million profit. So keep that in mind as well. Soboslai should switch his career to Olympic running. Long distance running, surely. He's got a great engine on him, Darren. I can't wait. I think him and Wirtz in the same group, and McAllister and Gravenberch. I'm so excited for our midfield options. Any update on who's taken over from Heidinga? So there's a few options. There's Dirk Kuyt, and there's the guy that used to work at Feyenoord and the other club that Arne Slot used to coach before, Feyenoord, that has become available. I can't remember the man's name off the top of my head, but I think, to the best of my understanding, it's down to those two. Now, there's probably going to be other names in the mix, but so his former assistant that was there at Feyenoord and Alkmaar, I think it was before that, and then Dirk Kuyt. They're the two names that I've seen in the mix. Stefan Borson, the former Man City accountant and PSR and FFP, said earlier this week that the Wirtz deal was not dependent on sales at all. Well, our own former chief executive said differently. Peter Moore said, there are going to be some hard decisions on players who are going to leave, and if Wirtz is real, I know my owners pretty well, then somebody is going to have to go to A, get money back, and B, make room on the payroll salary for that. So yeah, Peter Moore certainly feels like FSG will be looking to recoup some money from sales, and again, we've always been told that that's probably going to be the case. The Liverpool prophet said, Craig, is it just me, or are City and Arsenal not really saying much so far this window? Well, they have the Zubamendi deal, Arsenal, to get over the line, and they will. That's probably the 1st of July from what I'm hearing. Then they've got the situation with Šeško, and there's been some talks there. I think they want to try and get him for about 70 million, although I think Leipzig are looking for a lot more. They've also been in conversation around Gyökeres, but I think Šeško is more the number one target. After that, I don't really know what else Arsenal are looking at or need, to be honest. You know, how much do you need to finish second or third in the Premier League every season? 2 signings and 2 on the way. Slot is cooking, said Namon. Yeah, so I've been told the media team are expecting 4. And I don't mean over the course of the whole window. I mean realistically early in the window 4. I don't know who the 4th one is, by the way, before you're asking. I haven't got a clue, and nor did the person I was speaking to. But 4 is the expectation. So maybe there's a deal that none of us know about that's in the works, but the number 4 is definitely the one I'm hearing. Zach, I've already read that comment that you mentioned, mate, about Slot. Read it out earlier on. I don't know if you missed it. What about maybe Mane or Firmino back? No, they're not good enough. Simple as that now. Yeah, neither of them anywhere near good enough to come back and play for Liverpool again, mate. No, Firmino, you know, he wasn't really even getting love over in the Saudi team he was at. So yeah, look, best not to go back for those two. As much as I love both of them when they were here, and I absolutely did, 2 incredible players that were so pivotal to our success. But yeah, that chapter's closed, and yeah, Bobby got the big farewell as well. Right, let's get back to our poll. So, we've had over 3,000 votes, and we said, how much will we get for Darwin? And at 38% of the vote, you guys and girls think that £50 million is the number roughly that Liverpool will get for Darwin Núñez. 60 million with 30% was second, 40 million with 19% third, and 70 million, 12% was last. And again, thank you so much to everyone that took the time to vote. Craig, Marino, Pusic, and Etienne Reinen. I again need more context than that one, my man. Sorry, are we talking players, coaches? Is there any news on Haddo? I really think he could be a good centre back, said Dylan. Nothing I have anyway, Dylan, my man. Certainly can say to you, as you know, you don't need me to say to you, it's public knowledge that he's somebody we've looked at. I always remember one thing standing out to me, though. I think it was Fabrizio Romano said that would be a difficult negotiation for anybody. And obviously, with Johnny Hiding had just gone in there now, imagine Liverpool knocking the door straight away to go, hey, Johnny, well done. Congratulations on the new Ajax job. And also, we're going to be having that left back / centre back of yours there, fella. So I don't know on that one. Keith, can Bayer just accept the next bid, please? Frustrating. So I don't actually know that a bid has been rejected yet. I know that there's talk about bids, and I know that they're not happy with the way it's formatted, but I think I haven't heard a bid being rejected yet. Now, I'm not saying that the first one would be accepted, but I don't know if that's the way this is going to go. And I think there's no, here's a number and that's rejected. I think it's here's a number and then they kind of counter with a different angle and then they look at it. You know, I don't think it's a yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, back and forth, back and forth. I think there's an open dialogue. And if you throw another player into the mix, like a potential Kwanzaa or Elliott, that would just make it even more complicated. Sunil said, I understand your views on Diaz, but we don't want too many changes. Been reading How We Win the Premier League by Ian Graham. Again, a book I definitely should read. Dr. Ian Graham, obviously brilliant statistician and a huge part of a success at Michael Edwards. They formed Ludonautica together, which Michael Edwards obviously stepped away from to come back and work with Liverpool. And he said, and he mentioned how Liverpool should never sell their best players. This is why we let our best players run down their contracts. Again, though, if a player wants to go, Liverpool aren't going to stand in their way. And truthfully, Sunil, as I sit here, I don't know if Liverpool or Diaz are the one pushing this along. I haven't got a clue, my man. But like you, I would rather we kept him. I've been really clear about that. But if he wants to go and Liverpool think that they can, let's say, refresh or maybe even upgrade. It's not my decision to make, but I wouldn't be selling. I might be selling Jota and Darwin. Sky Germany confirmed the bid has been rejected. That's very cute, mate. I don't care what Sky have to say on anything, to be honest with you. Germany, England, Switzerland, they're about 3 days behind everything else. They were talking about Liverpool not even being in the race on Sky 4 days ago. So you'll excuse me if I don't find that one a little bit funny, mate. But whatever Sky Germany have to say, I don't really give a fuck about, to be honest with you. Nothing against you, my man, but yeah, Sky and transfer stories just not one that I take seriously. They're so far behind. Red Hot Frank. And so I really don't mean to come across rude to you there, mate, on that one. It's just Sky are shy when it comes to transfer stuff, in my opinion. I've seen a post about fans urging Wrexham to get Dan's on a loan spell. Honestly, I think he can thrive with them. No, not for me. I much prefer the idea of Sunderland because he'd be in the Premier League. And that's where we need to see him challenged. Because if he's going to come and play for Liverpool Football Club, he's not going to be just playing in the Premier League. He's going to be playing to win the Premier League. So Wrexham obviously would be an interesting proposition, but I think right now, if that Sunderland story is true and it was, again, the Northern Echo that we're talking about, I think that would be an incredible loan move for him. Go to Sunderland, get Premier League minutes under your belt with a newly promoted team, and we could keep an eye on him as well. So that will be a win for me. Is there any news on Canada? Said Mitchell. Not that I know of, mate. I wish I did, because it's that's the thing causing me the most anxiety at the minute, is the centre back situation. Really calm about the fullbacks, really calm about Wirtz. Trust the club with regards to the attacking end of the pitch, but I really have no idea where we're at with the negotiation with Canada. And I don't even know who to trust on anymore, because, we had two very credible journalists in Paul Joyce and Fabrizio Romano say deals were close in October, and then Canada came out and said that was all bullshit. So I haven't got a clue, but I'm stressing about it. No problem if we sell Kwanzaa, because I'm unsure on him anyway, but Canada will be a big loss for us. So yeah, I'd love to see us get that deal over the line soon, because if we don't, then it becomes a more daunting window, because we have to rebuild a centre-back partnership then. If Canada stays, Kwanzaa left, and you brought someone else in, it's competition. But if you lose Canada, then you're replacing part of a partnership, a very successful one. Thoughts on Trent's €1 billion release clause? I couldn't give a fuck about 66 anymore. He can have €5 billion release clause in there for all I care. He signed in a 6-year deal, which he wouldn't sign at Liverpool. I'm just glad the end of this chapter, in all honesty. Don't want to even talk about Glad anymore. He's made his decision. He got a nice farewell at Anfield, which, his time here deserved. But after that, he can have a fucking €10 billion release clause. I don't care. He's not one of us anymore, so leave him to it. The 4-1 might be getting Canada a new contract. No, it was a signing, Frankie. I don't know who it is, but it was a new signing they were expecting. Liverpool Prophet said, Craig, I think when you watch proper content creators, Craig and journalists, you seem to realise how unreliable platforms like Sky are. It's not that I think they're unreliable, I think they're just slow. I look at it this way. Maybe Sky have to hold themselves to a higher journalistic standard. And maybe they have to double, triple, quadruple check stories. And I understand it. Like, Kaveh Solokol, I said I'll always have nothing but kind words for after the way he stood up for Liverpool fans in Paris and, dispel that bullshit narrative of the French police about people arriving late and that. I'll always have respect for Kaveh Solokol because of that. And I've nothing against Sky and the way that they report transfers. I just think that they're kind of slow about it. for various reasons. Some of them being the scheduling of the shows, some of them being obviously having to double, triple, quadruple check on sources. It's just not my go-to at all for transfer stuff. I do watch Back Pages tonight because I enjoy it as a show. Each night where they've got the journalists on speaking about tomorrow's papers, but yeah, not the one I would be looking for the transfer breaking news on. Jack Penny, appreciate you, my man. Thank you. Bransfield said, "Hey Craig, any update on the package?" Again, no, sorry, I haven't. I'm gonna just put my hands up on this one, mate, and say I completely forgot to remind Sabrina. There was because I wanted to get you some. There was something in particular I wanted to get because I don't just want to send your dad an autograph. I'd rather get a little nice card or something like that to send it to him in, and that's what I was keep meaning to get about it. But thank you for reminding me. I'll make a mental note of it. I just so much on, mate, and I'm spread a little bit thin, ironically, at the minute because I've got so many things that I'm going over here and then I'm doing that, and then I've got meetings with platforms that want us to start shows on there. I've got just stuff I'm not used to being this busy, put it that way. Something's happened in the last few months and I don't know, my life's got an awful lot busier. 4-1-2-1-2. Avoid centre forward and troubles and money troubles. Maka and Soboslai box to box. 4-1-2-1-2. Again, 4-2-2-2-2, 4-2-4, 4-1-2-1-2. All variations of a 4-3-3 to some extent. All possible, mate. You know, Arna could look at the Wirtz situation and see him as the false nine, and I think we'll get an answer. If Diaz goes and we don't sign a winger, I think you have your answer. Then you're probably going to see Wirtz use the left side as the number 10 role to tuck in a little bit. If we do bring in a winger, then maybe you're going to see him operating that false nine. Hello from Miami. Benvenuto a Miami. Top centre-backs to target. Top ones to target. Well, Huijsen was my dream. That's gone. Depends if we want left or right. You know, Mark Gay is the name's been in the mix. Looking Premier League clubs and abroad of him. Arujo from Benfica. What's going to happen with Piero Hincapié? I don't know if he moves on somewhere. What other centre-backs have we been speaking about? Hato, does he come in, operate? Maybe a left side cover for Virgil and left back cover. Yeah, don't know. I really just don't know. I'm not going to lie to you, mate. My heart was all in on Dean Huijsen. And like I always said to you, I did know that Liverpool were Huijsen's Premier League #1 choice, but I couldn't begrudge him the Real Madrid move when they came in from, he's just become a full Spanish international. And once Real Madrid came in, I felt like the writing was on the wall. And I'm still a little bit salty about it, to be honest. If Klopp didn't say on 66, Anfield would have booed 66. Look, I think it was dealt with rightly on the last day of the season. And I really respect Liverpool fans for that, because the day shouldn't be remembered for anything other than celebration. And that's what it was. Palace fans got to celebrate. Liverpool fans got to celebrate. All sets of players got to celebrate. Trent got to say goodbye to the club. Everything was done respectfully and in a nice way. And it's a nice way to remember the day. Fans made their feelings clear in the Arsenal game. Again, rightly or wrongly, that debate was had. But now it's done, it's dusted, and off he goes. But I don't want to hear from Klopp or anybody else on how we should feel about Pep Lijnders, because again, I'm going to say I think it's an individual decision. And for me, I don't like what Lijnders is doing. Sunil said, Canade signs at around 150 grand a week, in my opinion. I'd loan Kwanzaa for a year, final chance. Keep hold of Gomez for a year, bring in a promising centre-back, and we're good. But you see, you've kind of just invented a problem for us, Sunil. So if we loan out Kwanzaa for a year, and he does really well, we've already brought in a centre-back. So we've already solved the Kwanzaa problem. What are you going to do now? Sell him for more money? Fair enough. That's a possibility. But for me, I'd just sell. If the manager wants him, keep him. But I don't think he does, so I would just sell straight away. Rather than hope for the best outcome, I would sell and then he just doesn't become our problem no matter what happens. You know, if he does well, brilliant, maybe you get more. But if he plays poorly, maybe you're stuck with a player that you wouldn't have... you would have got more money for a year ago. So it worked both ways, but I would sell, personally. James, how are we, dude? Always a pleasure to see you. So, Craig, not a Liverpool thing, but can I send my condolences to the girl that passed away at the Cork Marathon today? Yes. So Connor's friend ran in the Cork Marathon today as well. I believe that the lady that passed away had ran the half marathon and then became ill at the finish line, and unfortunately was taken to the Cork hospital and pronounced dead. But yeah, condolences, James. Absolutely. Never nice to hear these type of things happening, man. And again, like our friend said earlier on, Eddie, as well, about what happened in Carlo today, just scary stuff. Red Hot Frank said Liverpool should have got Van de Ven when he was available. I agree, but also he does have a lot of injuries. But mate, 100%. As soon as I seen him play for Spurs, I went, oh shit, he's pretty good, isn't he? He's got pace to burn. We had the George Schmadtke hookup as well there with Wolfsburg at the time. And I mentioned quite quickly he felt like one that got away, but he has had a really bad time with injuries. S4T said, if Alvarez were to become available and wanted to move to Liverpool, what would you believe would be a fair price for him? 85 to 100 million pound would be what I would consider a fair price for Julian Alvarez. Taking into account what Atleti paid for him, yeah, I think somewhere between 85 and 100 million pounds, so somewhere between 100 and 120 million euro, kind of feels like the right number. And saying it out loud, just thinking about that and the Florian Wirtz numbers, it just doesn't feel very likely we'll see those two huge signings. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it, mate. What's wrong with people? Sorted a fight with neighbours. One sent someone up to sort me out. Just had to educate them up and down the street. I'm lucky. I live in a really nice little council estate where everyone kind of just gets on with it, minds their own business, and everyone's sound. I'm very lucky where I live, Dave. But I've certainly had my fair share of confrontational neighbours over the years as well. But just not here. It's been lovely since we've lived here. Would I take Reece James at the back? No. Again, like I said about Van de Ven, no doubts about his quality as a player, but just so many injuries. The Luis Diaz one is a funny one because there's no standout replacement. Who's yours? Anthony Gordon. For a couple of reasons. Age profile, homegrown, sports the club, and we need pace. And I think with him and Cody Gakpo, we'd have two different options, Benjamin. So for me, if Diaz moves on, and again, my thought process wouldn't be to sell, but if we did, I think Anthony Gordon makes sense because the homegrown quota needs to be paid attention to, and he's a Liverpool fan. But he's not the complete package. He's too lightweight at times, goes to ground too easily. But there's a lot there to work with, and I think he'd leave it all out there on the pitch and give everything for the shirt. Sean Dickinson, thank you, my man. Appreciate you. I would like to see us bring in Costello Lukeba. Certainly a player we've been linked with. We spoke about him the other day as well. I think Leipzig are looking at about 70 for him, but he is a player that has been mentioned as one that Liverpool have been, at the very least, running the rule over. I'd say maybe if you could ask this to the likes of maybe David Ornstein, Paul Joyce, somebody like that would have much better information on it than me, but I can certainly say he's been mentioned and spoken about. We sell Gomez next season, and we need to replace VVD as well. Kwanzaa being young needs to be kept under consideration for a couple of years. I just don't rate him, Sunil. So for me, it's a straightforward one. I just don't see it in him. I think he's been regressing this year rather than progressing. But ultimately, I agree with the other part of what you've said. We do need to look at a future VVD replacement. No argument there. But I think Canade could become the leader. And then we, bring in a 21, 22-year-old centre-back that when Canade becomes a little bit older, slots in there alongside. Yeah, for me, if we got £40 million for Jarell Kwanzaa, I'd bite your hand off for it. Will you do pre-season watch-alongs? Excited for it. I've looked at some of the ones that are on at like 10, 11 in the morning. Don't know, in all honesty. My sleep pattern is very much go to bed at 6 a.m, get up at like 3 p.m. So, I don't know. I probably will. But, yeah, I hate when we're playing that early. Much prefer when we're over in America or something, and the games are far more Craig-friendly time-wise. But when we're in Asia, yeah, those times, they're not great. We're talking about 10 a.m, 11 a.m. kickoffs. Ryan said, Craig, I predict a here we go tomorrow for Wirtz. I don't think you're going to be too far wrong, Ryan. I'm kind of right there with you, bro, about expecting that very soon. Because Liverpool want him done before Wednesday. And I think once it gets to Tuesday, you're not getting him because then he's going to be properly in match mode with the German national team. Ideally, you'd get that man on a plane tomorrow and get him over here for his medical. Because if not, then maybe you're rushing to do it in Germany on the Tuesday. But I think keep an eye on tomorrow. Yeah, I think it could be a big day. Benjamin said, if Luis Diaz goes for €100 million, will we go big again? Darwin, although not sure there, it's gone quiet. Darwin's going. You don't need to be concerned about that, mate. He'll be out the door. It's just a matter of when and who. Diaz, I think €85 million, the number I've seen mentioned, but again, I'm going to have to just say I don't really know anything outside of the three players that I've mentioned. Now, I will find some stuff out, but right now, that's kind of where I'm at with my own information. Okay. Eddie Cox-Wilkins said, apparently the German manager said he doesn't want any distractions, so they won't let him go for his medical. Yeah, no, that's bullshit. He will be let go for his medical. But if it gets to Tuesday, he won't. That's why I'm saying tomorrow could be a big day. Everyone's on standby. As soon as he gets the nod, he's on a plane and that medical's getting done, and then he's straight back over to go with the German national team. But for right now, it's just a waiting game. Everybody's waiting. I'd almost go as far as to say there's probably a bleeding plane sitting on a runway somewhere ready. It's that it's that far along. It's just those final details, get the nod, and then get the man on a plane. Colin Blackshaw said, hey Craig, do you look at Wirtz being a generational talent and future captain? Don't know about the captain part, haven't got a clue. Generational talent, 100% yes. I would say he has the potential to win a Ballon d'Or. I can't give him much higher praise than that. Ash said, I think we missed a trick not going for Kvaratskhelia. A more proactive Liverpool of old would have replaced Diaz before he's gone, and Kvaratskhelia was extremely versatile. Now, he was just sold on that PSG project for a while, in all honesty, mate. We did look late, but PSG put in a lot of groundwork to get Kavisha Kvaratskhelia. And I think he'll look at it and think he made the right decision right now, as he's sitting there with his Serie A medal, his French medal, his French Cup medal, his Champions League medal. It's been a fairly productive season. He's won 2 league titles in one season, Kavisha Kvaratskhelia, and the Champions League and the French Cup. Off topic, did you hear Barca lied about Yamal's age? He's actually 19. Didn't hear that at all, mate. No. Why would they lie about his age? I don't even know why that would make sense. Yeah, no idea. But he's still an excellent player, and Barcelona have still got one of the best in the world there. Again, I don't know. Yeah, Luigi, it does look like Diaz has decided to leave, mate. We did see that one. There's a report here that came from, where is it? This one, or this one? Sorry, bear with me. I have a lot of stuff open here. No, it's not that one. Oh, it was this one. Yeah, sorry. Bild have reported that Luis Diaz has decided to leave Liverpool. Look, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, so look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go record the late night news update because I've about 4 stories in my inbox that I've got to quickly read over before I record. But if you're joining us late and you haven't had the full rundown, I will get something out in the next 20 minutes or so. Again, appreciate you all being in tonight. If you can, do hit that subscribe button for me, drop a like on the stream, and don't forget to check out the Anfield Agenda Clips channel as well. Our dream is to get the Clips channel to 100,000 subscribers to get a silver play button for it. So if you can help us out by searching Anfield Agenda Clips, please do, and hit that subscribe button over there for us. I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. But yeah, news video coming out in the next 20 or so. Love you all to bits. Thank you for another fun stream. Don't worry, we'll get it done. He will be a Liverpool player soon. I know we're all on pins and needles just waiting for it, but stick with us. It'll be worth waiting for. We'll talk to you soon. Much love. Bye-bye.